Okay. Okay, I'd like to call to order the January 24th, 2022 meeting of the Town of McCandless Town Council. First up, the Pledge of Allegiance led by Council Member Casey.
Okay, this is being recorded. Got it. Okay. Guess we stand.
Yep.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Let's see, a few announcements before we get rolling. Since this is new to some, or we're going back to what we have done before. If you have a vote to make or something to say, or you do a motion or a second, it's hard hearing people. So make sure you put your hand in the air so we know who's doing what. For those from the public that are here, when the comment periods come up, if you could put your name and address in the chat box and the subject that you want to talk about, then RJ can send you a mic or unmute your mic. So those are sort of the housekeeping issues. Other announcements, North Allegheny is having their Alumni Gala. It's what, Carolyn, you're on that committee, right? Oh, you're on mute, so let me note it from my.
Yes, it's this Thursday. Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yeah, we can now. It's this Thursday at what?
7:30, I believe.
Okay. If someone wants to attend to support the school district's foundation, where do they go? Or
I would have to, let me pull up my email. I have to pull up. I honestly don't know if they are allowed to register anymore, if it's too close to the event date, because I'm kind of guessing it might be closed by this point. Let me take a look.
It's this Thursday. I Googled on the website. This Thursday, January 27th, cocktail hour starts at 6. Dinner starts at 7. You can find it on the North Allegheny website. Other announcements, Carolyn, while you're looking, we're still doing the sock sweatshirt collection for the McCandless Township Democratic Committee for the Veterans Leadership Program going on through February 27th. There are boxes at Town Hall. Then for upcoming conferences for those on council, the Allegheny County League of Municipalities has their spring conference from April 7th through April 10th this year. It's at Seven Springs Resort. If anyone is interested in attending that, please let Bob know so he can make appropriate arrangements. And then you'll get sick of me reading this. As always, I like reading. We're going to work together as a team to better our town. We all have an equal voice. We may disagree, but we will do so with civility and respect, because in the end, we're all neighbors. So next up is approval of meeting minutes. We're going to do these in 3 separate votes. The first one is from the town council meeting dated December 20th, 2021. I guess we'll first start if anybody has any issues or revisions or anything they would like to add to that. Okay. Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from December 20th? Dr. Rapa?
I make a motion to approve the minutes from December 20th meeting.
Okay. Second?
Second.
Okay. Miss Clunan? Okay. Everyone in favor of adopting the meeting minutes as stands, signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. The next up is approving the meeting minutes from the organizational meeting on January 3rd, 2022. Again, does anybody have any revisions or additions to those meeting minutes? Okay. Hearing,
Jason Singer, so moved to approve the meeting minutes from the organization meeting of January 3rd, 2022.
we have a second.
Second.
Okay, I guess Carolyn got in there for the second. Everyone in favor of approving the meeting minutes from January 3rd, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No, okay, motion carries. And last piece of housekeeping to approve the meeting minutes from town council on January 10th, 2022. If anybody has any comments or revisions there. Okay,
Jason
Hearing.
Singer, I'll make a
Hearing.
motion for the meeting of town council minutes of January 10th, 2022.
do we have a second?
Second.
Dr. Rapa? Okay, everybody in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Next, we move on to the public hearing on the Personnel Board reorganization. Would this be you, Steve?
Yeah, I'm happy to call the public hearing on the proposed revisions to the Personnel Board ordinance, which would expand, in a nutshell, expand the Personnel Board by 2 members, and will create 5-year terms moving forward. And so this will be set in a way that each year, 1 member of the Personnel Board's term will expire. That's how it was prepared. Other than that, everything else remains the same. So if there are any members of the public that would like to comment upon the proposed changes to the Personnel Board ordinance, please indicate that you would like to speak in the chat box.
RJ, do we have anybody?
Is RJ manning that?
I am manning the chat box and I do not have anyone signed up.
Can we just close the hearing then, Steve?
We absolutely can. I was just going to say, if there aren't any comments, let's close the hearing and move on to the next agenda item.
Very good. Before we move on to the next agenda item, that wanted to get the council's opinion on how this is going to move forward. So if I guess this will come up to vote on our first meeting in February, Bob?
That's correct. The ordinance will be on the February 14th agenda.
Okay, so if it passes, the committee would then be, the Personnel Board would then be 5 members. So we currently have 3 with one of the terms expired or expiring, right, Bob? So we would basically need to make 3 appointments shortly thereafter if it passes.
Correct.
Correct. Okay. So I wanted to hear everyone's opinion. Do we select those from the people that applied? What would it be in last fall, Bob? What do you remember? What was the exact month?
Actually, I think the initial interviews took place in August and then again in late October or November.
Okay. Okay, so I guess what I want to hear from everybody, so we know sort of how to plan our path forward, is do we want to reopen or re-advertise for these slots? Well, we have 4 applications currently, Bob, for which would be, if it passes, the 3 slots, correct?
There were 4 people total interviewed for the positions
Okay.
thus far.
Okay. So I guess it's really, I want to hear everyone's opinion on, okay, the 4 we have are good, they applied, or because of this change, do we want to reopen it up? So does anybody have anything, Dr. Rapa?
I did view all of the interviews and I can be very happy with those candidates.
Okay. Ms. Schweiger, you're the liaison. What are your thoughts?
So we already have, so with the alternates on the Personnel Board, I think it's I think we need to give them the option if they want to have the opportunity of becoming a full-time rather than an alternate. So if we have that option open up, then we've got more candidates than we do have positions. So I kind of think we need to be fair and give the alternates a choice, a shot at this.
Well,
So,
I guess we can't be specific to the alternates, right? We would just be, we're reopening it to anyone that would like to
exactly.
apply. Okay.
I
So
think
that's
I would lean that way too. I mean, you've just increased the size of that board. You've effectively created more positions. So I think you need to open it back up for interviews. The board continues to function, as we've previously known. And we also have, anybody who's applied for that within the past year, I believe, according to our appointment process, is open for that as well. So they may need notification, hey, there's more positions opened up. So it's anyone from the last year, my understanding, plus anyone who would apply into the future.
Okay, so I hear two for
Can somebody please explain to me why the alternates didn't apply?
They didn't apply it initially because they did not want to compete against Amy Wearspan, who was the chairman and
who was up
applying for a
reappointment.
second term. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you can hear me, I'm in agreement with Councilwoman Schweiger and Councilman Singer. I think the dynamic of a group moving from 3 to 5 changes. And I would like to have the alternates have the opportunity, and any other of our residents, if they'd like the opportunity to apply as well.
Ms. Zachary, where do you come down?
I think that sounds very reasonable.
Okay, Mr. Casey, open it up.
Agreed.
Okay. Bob, you can make that, you can get that ball rolling, or do we need it to pass first?
You probably would need it to pass first.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit cleaner if it passes first.
Okay, but we'll at least have a plan moving forward. So, okay. Okay, that's what I wanted to accomplish there. So let's move on to item 6, reports of the committee. Mr. Casey, do you want to run through your administrative and finance committee?
Yes, I would. Do I have a motion to approve checklist number 12 as it was presented in your packets and posted on the bulletin board?
I'm available if you have any questions.
Jason Singer, I'll make a motion for checklisting number 12 dated December 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2021, totaling $1,298,623.21.
I'll second it.
Thank you.
Do you want to do the roll call vote there, Mr. Casey, just to make sure?
I do that. Okay.
Steve has a
May I have a roll
question.
call?
Steve, did you have?
Is that Jason?
Yeah, well, I was going to mention that we should probably take public comment on this because we haven't had we're doing the public comments at the end of every committee. And so if there's a motion in the committee, we need to take public comment before there's a voice vote or a roll call vote.
Great. Do we have any public comment?
There's currently nothing in the chat box. If anybody has a comment on the checklisting, please add them or add that comment or notify us in the chat box that you'd like to speak.
Anything, RJ?
No.
No, or Bob? Okay.
No.
If there's no anticipated dissent, there would be no need for a roll call vote.
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay, great. Well, let's move on then.
You still need a vote.
We'll need a vote.
Oh,
We have a first and second. We need a vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 It's unanimous. Thank you. Next, I hope you all had an opportunity to review the financial and the dashboard reports. Does anybody have any questions?
This is the first time you'll see December. And we'll see it again after the end of the 30-day accrual period. We have met budget for revenues, and we will see a little bit of an increase in that once we get the final December numbers for earned income tax and local service tax. The expenditures, of course, came in under budget. We're performing as expected. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Yes, Kim.
Have accounts been reconciled?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Moving right along, liaison reports. McCandless Industrial Development Authority, Councilwoman Ropa, would you like to speak to that?
No meeting yet.
Okay. Then the North Hills Council of Governments, Mr. President.
I attended the meeting virtually on Thursday, the 20th. It was part of it was the reorganization meeting, and Karen Pastor from Sharpsburg was voted in as president. And there were just a few items about SALT and mutual aid agreements and just upcoming events or meetings with the managers and the police chiefs and stuff. So that was sort of the highlights of the of COG this month.
Okay. And how about the Pittsburgh North Regional Chamber of Commerce? Would you like to speak to that as well?
Yep. Their November and December meetings were canceled because of the holidays. I'm trying to schedule a meeting where the executive director could come and meet in town hall with myself and Bob to share some different ideas on how we can further engage with the chamber. So that'll be happening here in the next couple of weeks. And that's really about it there.
Thank you. Next up, we have the report of Junior Council Member Gannon Sprinkle.
Hello, Council.
Got the floor.
My report has been submitted. It's on COVID and NA. It's a very pressing topic around this time. Does anybody have any questions about my report?
No, sir.
Thank you for your report. It was very fitting for the timing. Thank you.
I would like to say thank you as well, Gannon. And I did have a question. I've seen different things on the national news about the lack of substitutes and teachers. Have you noted many teachers or the faculty being gone from the school day yourself?
Yes, many.
Thank you.
They're out. Teachers are out. We've been moved around. It's noted in my report, but we've been moved around, and sometimes they'll stick multiple classes in large areas such as the auditorium or the library and have one sub watch over several classes. It's not a very efficient system.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you for your report. Moving right along, it says the public comment on administration and finance. I think we already did that. So next up is the report of the Planning and Zoning Committee. Ms. Zachary.
Is there a zoning report, RJ?
Yeah, the Planning Commission meeting memo should be in everyone's packets.
Okay, the McCandless Square townhouse is going to be coming forward as soon as they can get some parking details worked out, and I think everything else they worked on are under new business tonight to be addressed.
Mm-hmm.
And the map demonstration.
Oh yeah, I'm excited about this one. So I'm going to share my screen here in a moment, just to give a little explanation. I believe it was Councilmember Clunan had asked when we were awarding the zoning rewrite contract if we could take a look at our ward map and make it a little more user friendly so people could figure out what ward they live in. And I like to play with maps, so I did. So this is what we're going to be putting live with a link to the website soon. I just need to do a couple setting tweaks in the back end, but basically this is an interactive map where you land on this page. If somebody's trying to figure out what ward they live in, talks about, you know, why that's important, links to check your polling place, because of course that could change. We're not the ones that set that, you know, so go to the source. But let's say you live at, well, I hope you don't live at Town Hall, but we'll use that for demonstration purposes tonight. What you do is you come to this landing page, you type in your address, and voila, it tells you which ward you live in, puts a little marker on the map, and directs you to the town council homepage in case you want to contact your council member based on this. I'm hoping that, you know, this is sort of just the beta version, but once we actually, you know, have the, whether we're going to get, you know, new Senate or House districts or anything, whatever ends up there, or with the voting precincts, that we can also add that information. So when you put your address in, you can see all of the different districts that you would live in. So if for some reason your address doesn't pop up on here, you can also scroll in closer and there are little dots where all the houses are. So you can also just find your dot if for some reason the address doesn't work. So if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer them, but it's pretty straightforward.
Do we have the ability to go into district level as well, beyond just the ward level?
Yeah, so that's we're just waiting, since this is going to potentially be a redistricting year. That's another project I've kind of got the map going for, is figuring out whether we need to do any reapportionment at the ward level and exactly what we do with the districts. So just for now, because that could be changing so soon, I haven't added that information yet, but that we do have that data that we can add it eventually.
Perfect, thank you.
Very happy to see this, RJ. Thank you very much. And I agree. I know in Ward 7, there was long lines for 7-1 and nobody going into 7-2 at our last general election. So hopefully these kind of things will be addressed and we'll be able to see things in visuals too. I appreciate it.
Right. We will always direct people to the state website for the polling place, just because, again, that's not under our control. So I don't want to add that to the map, but anything that is, or that changes rarely, you know. So thanks for giving me a good reason to play with maps.
Thank you.
All right, zoning hearing board, Councilmember Clunan.
Thank you. The zoning hearing board did meet in December, but the minutes have not been approved yet. We'll be meeting this coming Wednesday, and I'm sure the minutes will be forwarded to your packets at that time. There's nothing other than that to report at this time.
All right, thank you. I did want to ask about the past event sidewalks, since we're on the under planning and zoning. I think that would go to Bob. Where are we on the past event sidewalks?
We have provided them with information that showed their acceptance of the terms and conditions of the last approval. We're waiting to hear on their timetable, and we'll keep on that. At this point, I haven't heard anything on the timetable, but we will stay with them on that.
How long have we been waiting to hear back from them?
Probably about a month since we sent that information.
Okay, all right, thank you. Public comments, is there anyone in the chat box or any public comments on any of the planning and zoning committee issues?
There's not.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Report of the Recreation Committee.
Hey, we have the
Schweiger.
liaison reports. You all have the Activities Advisory Committee meeting from January. We just did a review, reorganizational. We will have event dates coming up in February for Community Day. The Winter Festival, we'll have all that set by February. Were there any questions from the report? Nope. Okay, next up, we have the Finance Development Promotional Committee for the Heritage Center. We have Trish.
Thank you. At this time, the Heritage Center is closed and they are preparing for their opening again in March. We can look forward to a hopefully a big turnout and positive feedback from their first golf outing planned in May. But I am working with them on getting a calendar together as well, and also encouraging that committee to also fill in our activity and proposals and things like that to bring before council before any expenditures are made in the future.
Okay, great.
And,
Thank you.
mhm.
Are there any questions, comments, any public comments right now in the chat box?
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
There was a mention in the Heritage Center report about a possible conflict of interest with the new chair. Was that resolved, or how was that resolved?
I think that was, right now, it was one of those things, the chair was nominated, and if the consultant, that needs to be worked out some more with Bob, and if it comes to a situation where she becomes a paid consultant, then she will step down from the chairmanship.
And I'm working with Steve on those details to determine whether there's any conflict.
She did accept the chairmanship pending that decision.
Okay, I was just wondering if the decision had been made yet, but it doesn't sound like there has been. Okay,
No.
Thank you.
Okay, no public comment?
No,
This is
ma'am.
the- Okay, that concludes our reports.
Okay, moving on, the town manager's report.
You've all received a copy of my report. We are moving ahead on the various grant projects, the sidewalks, the recreational projects, trying to keep them moving forward. And also at the end of this week, we expect proposals to be received for the study of the ambulance authority. We've already received 2, and we would expect to receive several more prior to Friday. And that concludes my report.
Okay,
I-
Miss
excuse me.
Zachary.
I did have a question on the manager's report too. Sorry, the Terrace Place, I'm happy to see that they got their pond valves in there. Is that going to, or is that helping with the gravel and erosion that's occurring out of there onto Babcock?
It's certainly helping some of that situation, but we're monitoring the some of the other erosion because of the potential source for that erosion. But so the simple fact that they have that valve in place isn't stopping us from monitoring that situation.
So it wasn't the sole problem, then it's kind of multifactorial. Is that what we're thinking?
We're just making sure that any erosion that's coming from other sources is addressed.
Perfect. Thank you.
Any other questions for the town manager? No, seeing none. Town attorney's report.
Report was part of the packet, and happy to answer questions individually or an executive session if the council as a whole has any inquiries. That's the end of my report.
Okay. Seeing no questions, moving on. Is there any old business that we need to bring up?
Not at this time.
Okay. New business. Bob, do you want to give us the or is it you or R, maybe you, because instead of RJ because of her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, summer, yeah.
This ordinance is something that has been in the works for about 2.5 years. I see Kim smiling because she remembers it. it was originally going to be on an agenda in October of 2019. And during that meeting, we were made aware of some ongoing stormwater issues. And I'm pleased to say that we have addressed those issues between work that the Public Works Department did on Montgomery Road itself, and a cooperative arrangement that we were able to make with the developer of that area to reforest the hillside. So overall, we've been able to address the concerns of the residents, and we're finally in a position that we can accept that road as a public road.
Has that closed out? Is that closed out with the developer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, this will be the last piece of that puzzle.
Anybody have any questions of Bob about this ordinance?
I did contact the citizens on Montgomery that have been very helpful with helping us solve some of the problems over there today. And everyone seems to indicate, who I heard from indicated that the town has done what they said they were going to do with the restoration, and that the road is holding. And I think we've done good work there.
Good to hear. Good to hear. So do I have a motion for the ordinance at hand?
I'd like to make it.
Okay. Ms.
Motion
Zachary?
to adopt an ordinance tentatively identified as ordinance number 1521, taking over and accepting the roads and the maintenance of Sumner Drive as a town road and public right-of-way, and the public stormwater drainage system therein.
Okay.
Second.
Second, looks like Dr. Rapa had her hand up. Do we need a comment, or can we vote?
Should have.
You should
Public
ask
comment.
for comment.
Okay. Is there any public comment in the chat box, Mr. Graham?
Not regarding this this item.
Okay. So there's a motion to adopt this ordinance. Since we have no comments, let's vote. Everybody in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next up, Bob, do you want to talk about Walnut Court?
Sure. This is one of a number of motions that you've seen recently that make final adjustments to lot lines to tie back into the party walls or separation between the townhomes. So the part of that process, dividing up those lots for ownership individually. And Steve, anything else that you can?
No, this is routine. It's identical.
Routine.
Yeah, identical to several others we've done. Well, the past council has done in 2021.
Yeah, routine. That was the word I couldn't think of. Thank you.
Sure.
Does anybody on council have any questions of Bob or Steve about this? Like I said, it's routine. Okay. I know it's a long one, but would anyone want to make a motion?
I'll go for it.
Okay, Ms. Schweiger.
Okay, motion to approve the preliminary, the final Walnut Court Lot 103 revised subdivision application submitted by Trant Corporation proposing the subdivision of Lot 103.684 acres along townhome party walls into 7 lots. Lot 103-8 would be 0.28 acres. Lot 103-B would be 0.079 acres. Lot 103-C would be 0.079 acres. Lot 103-D would be 0.078 acres. Lot 103-E would be 0.078 acres, and lot 103-F is 0.078 acres, and lot 103-G is 0.218 acres. As reviewed by Gateway Engineers in a letter dated 12/27/21, and as recommended for approval by the Planning Commission.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Okay,
Jason
Mr.
Singer, I'll
Singer.
second.
Okay. Are there any comments or questions from council? Any comments or questions, Bob? Any comments in the chat box?
No. there
No,
are
not for this.
Not for
Okay,
this.
so no comments. We have a motion. We got the second. Everyone in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? No. Okay, motion carries. Next up, preliminary final for the, is it Yelch plans, Bob?
That's correct.
Okay, do you want to brief us on that?
Yeah, this is a lot line revision and consolidation that went before the Planning Commission. Gateway Engineers has reviewed that. All items, I believe, in Gateway's letter have been addressed. So there are no outstanding or pending items. So this is fully ready to go in front with council action.
Was unanimously approved by the planning commission also.
Do we have a motion? Again, it's another long one.
I'll make a
Mr.
motion.
Singer,
Go ahead, Jack.
or go ahead, Mr. Casey.
Okay. Motion to approve the preliminary final plan for Yelch plan of lot line revision application submitted by Tate Engineering Incorporated, proposing a portion of existing tax parcel 1348-N-294, 5.779 acres to be subdivided and consolidated with existing tax parcel 1348-N-284, 1.437 acres. The revised lots after consolidation will be lot 1, 2.170 acres, and lot 2, 5.046 acres, as reviewed by Gateway Engineers in a letter dated 1/18/22, and as recommended for approval by the Planning Commission.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, Ms. Clunin, I heard. Okay. Are there any comments or questions from council? No. Bob, do we have any comments from the public?
No, sir.
No. Okay. A first and a second. Everybody in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? No. Motion carries. Okay. Moving on. Next one, Bob. Bond reduction request.
This is another type of routine motion that you will see from time to time. The developers for Fassinger Farms have made a request through Gateway Engineers for a reduction in their performance bond. Gateway has performed an inspection of the property, made a recommendation of $249,000 for the reduction. So this is that dollar figure is based solely on Gateway's review and approval for this reduction.
Okay. Very good. Would anyone like to make a motion for this?
I'll move.
Ms. Clunin, go ahead.
Yep. I move to approve bond reduction request number 2 submitted by H&F Property Development LLC for the Fassinger Farms plan in the amount of $249,118.24 as recommended by the town engineer's review letter dated January 7, 2022.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Dr. Rapa? Is there any comments or questions from council? No? Bob, do we have any comments from our community?
No, sir.
No? Okay. Seeing that we have a motion and a second, everyone in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Nope. Okay. Motion carries. Next up, a promotion to sergeant. Ms. Ms. Schweiger, as the Personnel Committee Liaison, could you briefly explain the process on promotions to those that may not know it?
So we started this process, geez, like a year ago, I want to say, if not longer. But we, received the applications. They were interviewed and went through the process with our personnel board. And then we had a few applicants that were then passed on to our council. And council met last week, and Richard Ewing was selected for our next sergeant. So,
Perfect. Thank you.
would you like me to read that motion?
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Okay, so motion to appoint Richard Ewing as a sergeant in the McCandless Police Department.
Okay. Do we have a second? Mr. Singer? Everyone in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Wait for public comment first.
Oh, even for this? Okay. I didn't
Every
know
motion.
even if it was personnel. Is there any public comment, Mr. Grimm?
There is no public comment for
No
this
public
item.
comment. Okay,
Sorry
so-
for the sort of fits. and starts there for
That's
everybody.
okay. So, yes, everybody in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No.
Aye.
Sergeant
Wait,
Ewing,
we have
congratulations.
Ms. Zachary was trying to speak before the vote.
I'm
Kat.
sorry.
That's all right. I unfortunately was unable to attend the interview, so I would like to abstain. But the applicants all looked very qualified, and Officer Ewing looked like he will be an excellent sergeant.
Agreed. Sergeant Ewing, congratulations. Would you like to say anything?
Thank you to you all. Thank you for your time. Chief, I think Chief's on there. Thank you. Again, just all the support for my family. Just thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you for your service, sir. Okay. Now, we're going to have the oath of office by Dr. Rapa.
It gives me great pleasure to do this for Officer Ewing. If you raise your right hand, please. I, Richard Ewing, repeat after me,
I, Richard Ewing,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States
I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge the duties of police sergeant with fidelity.
and I will discharge the duties of police sergeant with fidelity.
Congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am.
Congratulations, Sergeant Ewing. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Perfect. Congrats again. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, very nice. One last item. We have a code appeals board that I think has only met once in the past 3 years. The code appeals board does not have a liaison since it does not meet regularly. And what comes in front of it are building or maybe property maintenance issues. Bob, would that be fair to say?
That's very fair to say.
Okay, and we had an opening and we had one person apply, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so RJ, Bob, and myself interviewed the candidate. I think we made the video available to other members of council. Correct, Bob?
That's correct. It was in the SharePoint folder.
Okay, so I guess the first question of everybody is, are we comfortable moving forward appointing person since we had one, or do we want to continue, to advertise? Does anyone have a comment one way or another?
I think I'm comfortable with it. Oh, I'm sorry, Ms.
Go
Zachary.
ahead, Mr. Yeah,
No, that's fine. Traditionally, if only one person applied and we felt like that they were a qualified applicant, we took that applicant. We did not require two to apply. If it was an unqualified applicant or someone we were uncomfortable with, then we would post it again.
I thought exactly.
your thoughts exactly. What about anybody? Everyone nods, we're okay to, okay. Since I did the interview along with Bob and RJ, I did think the gentleman was qualified. Nick Miller is his name. Architect, works in town, 15+ years experience, works with the building code every day. Newer member of our community, so glad people are stepping up and volunteering. So if I could, I'll make the motion to appoint Nick Miller to the Codes Appeal Board for a full term to end December 31st, 2026. That I
Second.
have in a second. Ms. Schweiger would be second. Steve, do I need any comments here?
You do.
Okay. Do you have any comments from council or from the public?
Nothing in public.
Hearing none. Okay. If everyone's in favor of this motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No. Okay. Congratulations, Mr. Miller. Getting near wrap up here. Is there any public comments from items that were not on the agenda tonight?
There is one. Are you taking it, RJ?
Sorry, I was just gonna say, I saw somebody pop up on the video, which I'm guessing might be a public comment. Ma'am, would you please just give us a wave if you'd like a public comment? Aha, there we go. I've sent a microphone request.
There, thank you. First, I want to say thank you to RJ and the town council for the new map that shows the wards and the precincts. I think this will be much more effective. Second, I'd like to say I'm really pleased you're going to look at that map in terms of redistricting. If you look at the 2020 census, that's 2020 census that is being used across the country for redistricting, we have some interesting differences, both in the size of our wards and in our precincts. So I think it'll be valuable to have town council take a look, see what you think of how that is set up, and if that's the best way to represent the community. So thank you.
Thank you for your comment, ma'am.
Can we please just get your name and address?
Yes.
It's on. It's in the chat, RJ.
Oh, it didn't show up for me. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I could give it if you wanted. It's Ramona Nelson, 2058 Carriage Hill Road, 15101.
Perfect. Thank you for your comments, ma'am.
Thank you.
Bob or RJ, any more public comment?
Nope, that's all.
Okay. Can I have a motion to adjourn? Dr. Rapa, second.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Okay. Second.
Second.
Mr. Casey, everyone in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night.
You.
Bye-bye.
Night.
Right.
Night.